Thanks again, Wendy, and welcome to all who have joined and those that are continuing to join us over the next few minutes. We all know how that is as we're trying to get to the next thing that we'd like to do today. So if you see on the screen, I'm guessing that I'm not the only one that has thought about what are the traits of really good project managers, ones that are more successful than not. The theme here is really, I guess, why any of us would be interested in this sort of thing is about becoming a better, even still a better project manager than you already are. And then the question kind of becomes, well, where do you even begin? If you try Googling 7 traits of good project managers or the traits of good project managers, probably going to come up with tens of millions of hits. So one can't read all of that. But one can think about it and perhaps consult other sources. But it's about the discussion I'm hoping to have today that will lead us to some takeaways for each and every one of us. And in some cases, that's going to be to affirm what we already know. And I think in a lot of ways that's important as professionals, is to say, yep, I am on the right track. It's worthy of continued energy. Or here's some new ideas. I need to commit myself to something that I've just now learned. So there we go. So as a thought experiment, I'd like you to think specifically about the project managers with whom you've worked, perhaps over the years, and perhaps for some of us even over a period of decades. And as you think about those people with whom you work, think about the ones that you really tended to admire because they struck you as being very capable, a cut above the rest, perhaps, ones that you respected, maybe that you desire to be a little bit more like them. And think about what was it particularly that differentiated them as project managers. Here we're not looking so much at were they PMP certified or not, but rather what were they like? Who were they? Not so much about their certifications, but who they were as a person, as a leader, as a project manager. So if you take a moment, that's kind of precious in our lives these days, even to take a few seconds to reflect and maybe even jot down a name. We're not going to share any of these. Who is it that I can bring to mind? One or two that are very characteristics based on your experience of exceptional project managers. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to step through 7. This is not an exhaustive list. It's a list that has come to my mind over a period of time as I've done live presentations and doing discussions, more of interactive discussions or after presentation discussions or working with my clients, always trying to understand what differentiates those project managers. First thing that comes to mind over and over and over again is that they understand, they have a practicable understanding of what the business or the organization in which they work, what their domains value. That understanding, that insight differentiates them as project managers because it helps them make better decisions, especially when craziness happens, when unusual things happen, something unexpected. It's that little bit of insight as to what's really important that helps them work out of a jam. It might be at the front end of a project during launch or an emerging, unexpected, being blindsided perhaps by an unusual stakeholder demand. So the idea here is, why are we doing the project? How is it valued both qualitatively as well as quantitatively? And so those project managers that tend to have a legacy of successes, somehow their projects seem to deliver value more reliably. And that's why they tend to be perceived, especially by the organization that engages their services, to be a reliable source for the delivery of successful projects. And their peers, I can say kind of wannabes, they kind of keep an eye on that. Why is that? What what is it about what they do, how they're planning and tracking that differentiates them? And so one of the things that I call your attention to is that I've actually done 2 other webinars for the Great IT Pro that touch on this subject and in more depth than we can go into in a half hour. So just for reference, one of them was called A New Way of Thinking about IT Project Management. And another webinar I did for the Great IT Pro was how project managers should think about business value. So it's somewhat controversial. There are different camps in project management. Some think that all you need to know is everything that's in the PMBOK and so forth, and you can drop into any business situation. My experience has been it takes a bit more than that. You may not have an initial expertise in that domain. One must quickly acquire a credible, demonstrable expertise in order for you to be perceived as reliable. So, as we go through this, I'm just kind of curious, have you had some of the similar experiences? And it depends a great deal about the context of the business domain, doesn't it? This can be dynamic because what business people or organizational leaders will value on one day changes from one day to the next or one business quarter from the next. It can include both qualitative as well as quantitative factors. And if you're experienced in project management, you'll probably continue to discover that different stakeholders have different perspectives on what is of value. In fact, maybe even competing and contrary perspectives on business value. And that's particularly what makes it challenging to be a project manager. Is part of what we have to do is understand that there are differences in what the various business domains value. So let's move on. Let's take a look at the second of the 7 traits. I'm sure most of you will agree that project management is about thinking skills. Here we see a quote from Peter Drucker I particularly like. It turns out that good decision-making, sound decision-making is a crucial skill at any level. And in any given day, we make lots and lots of decisions, some right and some wrong. And the more rights we make, the better, of course. The key differentiators here is that what I've seen is those project managers that demonstrate a trait for thinking for themselves, independent thoughtfulness, if you will, is that they demonstrate a certain kind of self-confidence that they earn over often a great deal of experience. And that means experience with both wins and losses, with success and mistakes. So that they can begin to develop that sort of self-confidence in their own judgment, which is not to say that they exclude or ignore or shun what other people think. In fact, it's really quite the opposite. I found that decision makers, ones that think for themselves, actually...
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN to earn, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.